Exclusively for Hampton Roads, Cox Communications presents Cox Business Television.
Welcome back to CBTV. I'm Mike Bram. In our last segment, we heard from two local business leaders with their take on government stimulus money in Hampton Roads. Now, two more angles on the issue. Ira Agricola is Vice President of the Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce, and Gil Yoakum is a professor of economics at Old Dominion University. Gentlemen, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mike.
Ira, as companies here in Hampton Roads are really trying to prepare for possible stimulus dollars, is there any one resource or anywhere that you'd recommend for them to look, whether either state or federal?
Well, I think the resource that gets updated every week is the web. And vagov.com is an excellent source. There's a number of links to stimulus information there, how the monies are being spent, how you can access those monies through grants, et cetera. The Senate, the U.S. Senate also has a very sophisticated website that tracks where the federal stimulus dollars are being spent, how these monies are being used, and some of the requirements.
Okay. And as I've kind of heard through the media in the last couple of weeks, there's some, I think, some new stats out for jobs. Are we seeing any jobs that are being created right now as a result of the stimulus, or just in the economy in general right now?
Well, we've gotten some good news. It's baby steps. However, the latest unemployment numbers have dropped from 7.4 to 7% in our region. Some of that perhaps is attributable to seasonal employment. However, any drop is a welcome sign, and as you know, the national unemployment rate remains around 10%.
Right. And as we're really trying to take advantage of all the resources that the Chamber may have, is there any one place that companies that are really trying to navigate during these challenging times, are there any services or places that they can really access the local chamber that maybe they haven't thought of?
Well, there's no question. We have an award-winning small business development center. And through that, you can access portals of information at all the universities in the state, all the major search engines with the federal government. And we have a team of experts there under the direction of Jim Carroll. And we're here to help. And we hope that those in the listening audience will access the Small Business Development Center and the Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce in these very, very challenging times that we're in.
Well, we thank you for all the things that you and the Chamber do, for us each and every day. And Dr. Yoakum, can you kind of give us a quick snapshot, since we last talked, like where are we and how is Hampton Roads faring during this economic time?
Well, as Ira had mentioned, our unemployment rate is lower than the national rate, and indeed we're doing a lot better on that score than other areas, other metropolitan areas around the country. We've still lost about 7,000 jobs over last year. Okay. The stimulus plan is starting to take effect, but only about 10% of the money has been spent to this point. So we're anticipating we'll see some more effect from the stimulus plan. But that effect is likely to be seen by saving jobs that already exist, probably more than seeing new jobs created. Yeah.
Okay. And in the last month or two, have you seen anything that would be early indicators of, has the Hampton Roads area reached perhaps the low point, and are we on our way back up, or how do you see us right now along this evolution?
Yeah, I think our position is very similar to what we're seeing nationally. It appears that the recession will end in the third quarter. We've been on a trajectory down. We've kind of leveled out. And going forward, it appears in the fourth quarter and going into 2010 that economic activity should pick up in the region.
Okay. And in the panel, you had talked that you thought that really here in the month of August, that we may have seen some challenging times really in commercial real estate. Did that come to fruition? Are we seeing those challenges now?
I think not only are we seeing those challenges, but I think that we're going to see them even more so into the future. I think that this is going to take a while to play out, and that there will be a serious concentration of problems in the commercial, particularly in commercial real estate.
Okay. And as we're kind of looking through this changing economy, and housing and commercial real estate were things which were both highlighted here in the panel a couple months ago. Is the housing from an individual employee that has challenges at home often translates into work. Yeah. Are we seeing any stability in the housing market here, or anything that's starting to show movement?
Yeah, the good news is, particularly with the $8,000 home buying incentive, that it appears that the housing market inventories, which had been rising significantly, have leveled, kind of reached their maximum, or are starting to fall a little. That's very important, and it's a necessary condition for house prices to stabilize. But we haven't reached a point yet where we've worked down that excess inventory. We're really going to see a firm stabilization at this point in housing prices.
Is there an estimate for how long the work down that inventory might be? Just are you all using any kind of trending that says by X date we?
Yeah, we should see this situation really begin to turn in 2010. We don't anticipate that we're going to see a real evident turning point upward in the housing industry until then.
Okay, and really for both of you all, if we could kind of close out this segment. Many organizations right now are starting to have to transition towards working on budgets for 2010. Are there any recommendations that you all could give from either the economic perspective or even just best practices that you all are discussing that says these are the kind of things which we really should take into account as we're building our corporate budgets for 2010? Ira, with you.
Well, I think collaboration is a key. I think more and more the innovation that occurs in this country and certainly in this region many times requires companies to collaborate more and more to pool resources, perhaps even competitors. And from that perspective, I think you're seeing some unique partnerships both in the stimulus realm, applying for stimulus funds, and also on private-public partnerships and other initiatives that are taking place.
Okay. And Ira, Ira, for you, Dr. Yoakum, are there, let's say, three things from an economist perspective, if you're talking to the CXOs right now, to say, be sure that you're looking at these two or three things as we're building the budget for 2010?
I think that there's a good reason for confidence in the regional economy because looking forward, we know that defense expenditures, are, at least through 2010, are going to stay fairly strong. We have performed for this year's State of the Region report a stress test on the region's banking industry, which is a duplicate of what the Federal Reserve Bank did on the major banks in the United States. It will be released in October. I can say, I think in general, that the banking industry in the region is in fairly good condition relative to other places.
I thank you all very much. Thank you for your participation today, and thanks for all you mean to this community. Coming up later in the show, the very latest Publisher Spotlight, a report from our friends at Inside Business Magazine on what's happening across the region. And in our 3 Questions For segment, we'll hear from local business leaders about what's happening in their industry that you need to know about right now.